We got some breaking news. On3's very own Pete Nakos reports that Nico Iamaleava is currently in negotiations with Tennessee around a new NIL deal. Now, the tweet reads from the On3 social account, Tennessee and Nico in active contract negotiations ahead of the 2025 season. It is unclear if the negotiations will impact whether he enters the spring transfer portal. I want to make this very, very straightforward here. That is the unclear part. Now, for us, if this is breaking right now, with the transfer portal about to open here April 16th, I think where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that it's fair to assume if a deal doesn't get done, that conversation can maybe start to be a little bit more legitimate. Now, we'll unpack all this right now. We'll give you our thoughts on this. We'll break down the latest. Before we do that, if you're a college football sicko, if you're a Tennessee fan, if you're a fan of any college football team, make sure you are subscribed right here. College football does not stop. This show does not stop either. Appreciate you in advance for being dialed in. So I think whenever you see a headline like this, if you're a Tennessee fan, you say, gosh, man, kid just wants more money. Kid's being greedy. I think this is just new college football. Like, I don't think you can find anybody around Knoxville, Tennessee that has anything bad to say about Nico as a human being. The market has changed. When Nico took his NIL deal, it was one of the first big NIL deals that we had in college football. Sources say it was right around $2.5-ish million. Now, this past spring transfer, or this past winter portal cycle, Carson Beck to Miami, Darian Mensah to Duke, right around allegedly $3 million plus is what those cats are being essentially making. Like, you see where I'm going with this? If I'm Nico Iamaleava, and that's the way the market is trending, and I just made the college football playoff, it's not, I think, unfair for him to have these kind of negotiations here as he moves forward here and the spring portal is about to open up. Now, the tough part for Tennessee is it's very much so a supply and demand kind of business right now, because you look behind Nico, do you feel 1,000% sure that you can pick up where he left off last season? Do you really want to hit the reset button on the offense with a first-year starting quarterback? That's not saying anything of what the depth is behind him. Just the reality is it's hard to make up for what Nico has actually done in a real football game and taking you to the college football playoff. Like, you can't put a price on experience here. So for Nico, it's hard to blame him. For Tennessee, it's hard to blame them. Now, my feel on this is I'm assuming something is going to get done. The article says that Nico has a good relationship with the folks at Tennessee. This is kind of what happens in pro sports all the time, isn't it? I mean, guys perform well enough to make the playoff like Nico did, and you see that the price changes across the market for what that position is, and you move forward here, and it's just like, okay, this is kind of the world we're living in. Tennessee is not in the wrong. Nico's not in the wrong. College football is a business now more than it ever has been before. Now, I will say the timing of this, going back to what the headline is over on the On3 social account, it's unclear if this is going to impact him jumping in the portal or not jumping in the portal in the spring. We're all adults here. We can all kind of imply what's happening. If a deal doesn't get done, it's very fair to speculate that the next step would be to test the water. So if that were to happen, where would he end up? What are some places that could make sense? Again, we're speculating, but I think you look at where he's from, guys from the West Coast, from the Los Angeles area. You got two schools in L.A., both USC and UCLA. I think USC probably feels pretty good about their quarterback situation. UCLA took a transfer portal quarterback in the winter. I'm just saying, if you got a spring and you're just even a little bit unsure, you're not 1,000% sure those guys are the guy to get you to make the playoff, you got a quarterback that could maybe be in there, that could, be available for the right price point. So that would be something that I think makes sense both geographically and from a need perspective if those schools feel that way out of the spring football season. The Notre Dame is one that I said it for a while, man. I've said it for a while. I think Notre Dame is in a spot across the board on their roster where the talent level is so high to where you can expect to make the playoff, I think, every single year, the way Marcus Freeman has recruited and developed. And you're coming off a year where you were, in the fourth quarter, playing for a national championship. If you get out of spring, and you're not 1,000% sure, like I said about USC and UCLA, that one of those guys on your depth chart is good enough to get you back to where you were last year, I think Nico's proven he is maybe worth whatever the NIL dollars would potentially look like for him. I don't think that's insane to say. So I want to make sure we say this again one more time. This is weird as a college football fan to see on your timeline because it's most of the time you get this kind of headline. It's a professional headline, right? You get this headline and it's like, oh, well, X player is holding out of X game because of, you know what I'm saying? Like this is new college football. It's a business. Now it's just much more in our face than it ever has been before. So, again, I think a deal gets done, but headlines like this, I think, are going to become more and more commonplace in the sport, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this one for those of y'all that are watching the show. Again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. A lot more content to talk about here as we move forward into spring transfer portal season. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We will keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.